Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to this card making project. In this project I'm going to use some of my favourite rubber stamps of all times, ever in the history of rubber stamps. And they're the chalkboard stamps by Griffin. We're going to use lots of other things as well. But I've got to say, I always go back to the chalkboard stamps. And it's quite funny really, because when I set the projects out, I always think, oh well, I'll try this and I'll use this and see how that works. But for this project, it was a bit like I had brain freeze, and I thought, you know what, let's go back to something that's my favourite and create something with that, because I never run out of ideas using these. So the first thing that we're going to need is our base card. This is a 6 by 6 inch card, and you know, it's a good size, and I do like symmetrical cards, that's all I'm going to say, because I think ours might turn out kind of symmetrical on this project. We'll have to wait and see. Everything I do use I shall put in a detailed list on my blog. I do include the extra items that I use as well, and then there's lots of photos on my blog as well of the inside of the project, the outside of the project, to give you more of an idea and the details that I've created. I've just used my bone folder, and I did it without thinking. I just went ahead and did it. I've used my bone folder to make sure I've got a nice sharp crease along the side of the card, because this will help it stand up on a mantelpiece, and it just makes it look more professional when you've got a neat crease, I think, along the on the side of your card. So the inside of the card, because I know you love the insert ideas, I've cut out a piece of white cardstock, and I've used Anna's calligraphy stamps in all four corners. There's a gorgeous, well this is it, a gorgeous calligraphy corner stamp in the set. In fact, there's quite a few before, I don't want to say there's only one. They're all beautiful. So I've used this particular beautiful calligraphy corner stamp, and I've just stamped in black ink, and I've tapped the ink pad around the edge of the card as well, just to add that little bit more interest. And I think we'll go that way with it for no particular reason. So there we go. So we've added that. And I mean, that looks great as it is, but we do want a sentiment on it. So what I've done is, because this card is going to be mainly red, black and white, I've stamped using Anna's chalkboard stamps with loving wishes, and I've stamped it in red and I've stamped it in black. And I've got to admit that both stays on inks. I do like my stays on inks, especially with the chalkboard stamps. So what I'm doing is, because I've just taken this through my Xyron machine, and I've got the adhesive on the back of it, so I'm just adding both of those stamped images that I've cut out to the centre of the card, and I think that looks really cool. It isn't the case that I couldn't decide which one to use. I wanted to use them both, because I just think they're both fun, they're both great colours, and it's a great sentiment. You've got enough space there for your to and your from, etc. And that is just a really simple insert, and it's just going to work perfectly with the outside. So I'm using my bone folder again to make sure my crease is still nice and neat. Now this card, there's a lot of layers on it, and I think this is something that, being an Anna fan, the layers are quite important to get the depth on a card and to show basically your creativity and just how great a card can look. So our first layer is just a plain black cardstock layer, and this is to make sure our next layer stands out. Now you'll see I've used the full layer of the black. It's for no particular reason for that layer. I know we like to be economical, I just haven't been on this occasion. So you can all throw your sock slippers at your sock puppets at the screen and say, oh, Anne-Marie, you should be economical. So my next layer is a layer of paper from the Rose collection. Now in the collection, in the Rose collection, you get both paper and cardstock. And for this card I've used the paper rather than the cardstock. Now for our next layer, because that's what it's all about, we've got another black layer. And again, you'd be throwing your sock puppets at the screen saying, oh, Anne-Marie, you've not been economical, you could have saved on that as well. I could. There we go. So this is all on with flat tape. So this is our next layer. And your eagle-eye viewers will have seen my little arrow. It's just to make sure that I know I'm getting it the right way around. Because sometimes you cut something and even though it's a square, it just works better one way rather than the other. Okay, so our next layer is my chalkboard repeat stamping. I just love these stamps and I love using them in the repeat stamping method. We've used them many times and I just think they look fantastic. And I've used them with red ink this time, just for something a little bit different. And I've stamped it repeatedly. Now you can see that, you know, I think looking at it that way, you think, oh, that's perfect, how have you done that? But when you look quite close up, it's not that perfect on some of them. And the edge, I've tapped the ink pad to make it look as though they're all nice and square. So don't get hung up about having to do it so neatly, because I think it's all in the enjoyment of stamping it and repeat stamping it. And if you're wanting to do it perfectly, it's practice, that's all. So I'm positioning the repeat stamped layer over the top of our black layer. There we go. So you can see automatically the black behind makes all the layers stand out so well. So it makes it just jump off the page. Next, I've taken, now this is from the Rose collection, it's the checkerboard paper. And I've cut it to fit our next layer. And our next layer is going to be repeat stamping again, but just instead of 9 stamps, we've got 4 stamps. And the checkerboard fits perfectly to underneath our black stamped layer. And it was only by chance that I found it out, because I'd stamped 2 sheets of paper in red and black, and I was thinking, what can I layer this with? How can I make this stand out? Doing something different. And I was looking at the Rose collection, because that's one of my favourite collections, and I thought, oh, I know, that'll work. And again, it's on flat tape, so I'm just going to position it through the centre of our previous layer, like that. Next, I've got a piece of rose cardstock, and this is just from my scrap bin. I've also got a piece of black card, and these are on flat tape. Oops, got my arrows on them so that I know which way up they're going. And again, I'm making a nice little matten layer with these. So add that. Not used to doing it up in the air. Try and get it a little bit straighter. There we go. And then I've got just one of the chalkboard sentiment stamps in the red that I can add to our little matten layer that we've just created. And then that can go through the centre of our card. Next, I've got 2 of Anna's Girl Flourish stickers, and these are so useful that you can use them on so many different paper projects, whether it's card making or scrapbooking, and you can build up such great effects. And I've got to be honest, I should have added these a little bit earlier, but there we go. So I'm going to wrap it around there, like so, just in each corner. And then I've got another one for the other side. And we'll just peel the back of them away. They peel off really simply. And again, just in that corner. And slide it in. There we go. Slide in a little bit more. See, I'd forget my head if it was loose. There. Pop that in. And now you would never know, she says. So, those are my two gold flourishes. And then I've dipped into Anna's favourite flower stickers. And again, you simply peel the back of these away. And I'm going to add one just at the bottom, oh sorry, at the side here, I think. And then the second one will pop just to the bottom at one side, at the other side, she says, like that. And then I've got a large ivory bow that I'm just going to add to the side of our sentiment. There we go. And that's our card finished. Symmetrical but not symmetrical. So we've got all our layers that are symmetrical until we get to our flowers. And the flowers just add a little bit more interest. So we've got the insert that matches perfectly, because we've got both the red and the black. And it's just such a pretty card. Stands up nicely. Few layers on there when we get to the end with the flowers and the sentiments, etc. But, you know, it should be okay for posting. You might need just a little bit of extra padding around your flowers. But I think that's just such a pretty card. And the chalkboard stamps are just a go-to product. For if I'm ever stuck for ideas, it's just, you know, I look at those and I think, oh, I could do this, or I could do that. So there's always a product somewhere that somebody thinks, oh, you know what, I can never stop thinking of ideas for those. So that's good. And the chalkboard stamps are mine. I just, I love them. So there we go. That's another project for you. Please check out my blog. There's so many different projects on there. I love making them, and I love it that you enjoy them. Please give me the thumbs up. Please share them. Please spread the crafty word. Let's reach as many crafty viewers as we can this year. Any comments, feel free on Facebook or my blog where I can get back to you. I just can't reply on YouTube. You can still comment on there. Don't let that stop you. It's just that I can't reply. So thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next time.